So, as we all know, the Baltimore Ravens are one of the best teams in the NFL. But are they capable of winning a Super Bowl? How's everybody doing today? It's Sports All Box in this video. Today, I'm going to talk about the Baltimore Ravens and if they're capable of winning a Super Bowl or not. Before I start, though, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell, and leave a like on this video. But without further ado, let's get into it. Now, last season was really the year where the Baltimore Ravens were looking really good when Lamar Jackson was starting. As last season, they went 14-2 and were the best team in the NFL. Now, when they made the playoffs, they played the Tennessee Titans, and they surprisingly fell to the Tennessee Titans, who went on to almost make it to the Super Bowl, but then the Kansas City Chiefs beat them, so that sucked for Tennessee. But I think we were all very shocked when we saw that the Baltimore Ravens, a team that looked much better than the Tennessee Titans, and they fell to them. So how about we start off with this? I'm going to go back to that game, and I'm going to tell you guys some mistakes that were made in that game that should be fixed next time they make the playoffs. Let's start off with this. Now, Mark Ingram II and Gus Edwards both combined for just 42 rushing yards on 9 carries, which is obviously unacceptable. So that was already one big problem that the Ravens had that game. It was that Mark Ingram II and Gus Edwards did not have that many rushing yards. And then after, not just that, but did anyone else realize that the head coach John Harbaugh went for it twice on 4th and 1 in the second quarter and the third quarter? Did anybody else realize that? Because he did. And, well, that was a big mistake, because if I were John, I would maybe try going for it once, and if I realized it didn't work, I'd probably just punt it. But that was also a big mistake that John Harbaugh made, going for it on 4th down. Now, also, the Ravens did have some problems on defense, as they did give up over 20 points. And not just that, but Lamar Jackson that game, he did throw for over 300 yards, but he only threw 1 touchdown. And that was a big problem. So here's what I have to say. First of all, if the Ravens are willing to do like they did last year, if they're willing to play like they did last year, this year, they will have to attempt. Well, first off, I think the season will go fine for them. I think they're going to have the same season. They're going to have over 10 wins, probably even around 13 to 14 wins. Then after, when they get into the playoffs, this is where stuff could get into a bit of a pickle, and it could be a big problem. Now, basically, if the Ravens are willing to do well in the playoffs, first off, Lamar Jackson needs to perform better, and John Harbaugh needs to stop making mistakes, and, well, Mark Ingram II and Gus Edwards need to combine for more rushing yards. But anyways, Lamar Jackson, back to him. It is unacceptable for your quarterback to throw over 300 yards, 365 to be exact, and only throw 1 touchdown. So Lamar Jackson needs to step his game up in the playoffs, because he just did not look good against Tennessee. Now, do I think he's going to step his game up? Absolutely. Why do I think that? Because he'll have more experience and he'll know what to do. You guys got to realize that Lamar Jackson is still very young and has a long way to go in his NFL career. And that was the first time that Lamar ever started in the playoffs. So, obviously, he never had any experience, so he didn't know what it was like. And then you have a guy like Ryan Tannehill, who, I mean, I'm not saying he's as good as Lamar Jackson, but he's been in the NFL longer than he has been, so it would only make more sense. And Tannehill balled out in the playoffs. But Lamar, this was his first time, so no one expected him to be this bad or this good. So I think what's going to happen is that next season, the Ravens will be back in the playoffs, obviously, and that is if we have a season. If we have a season, the Ravens will be back. They will still be a very good team, and I have a feeling that Lamar Jackson will perform better in the playoffs because he'll have more experience prior to last year when he didn't. And not just that, but if we want to just have some on a side note, just some mistakes that the Ravens should make up, like I said, if John Harbaugh just doesn't go for it on 4th down that much in the playoffs, I think they've got this one secured in the bag. Now, here's another big question we have to ask. Can they get past other teams better than them, like the Kansas City Chiefs? Because the Chiefs, as we all know, they were Super Bowl champions and they looked really good. Now, can Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens get past a team like that? Here's what I think. I am not too sure if they'll be able to get past the Chiefs. Because Patrick Mahomes, well, he'll be back and he's already won the Super Bowl once, so I have a feeling that he'll be ready for what's to come. But I feel like that I don't feel like the Ravens are able to get past the Kansas City Chiefs yet, if they ever face each other. So here's what I think. I think the Ravens will probably get further in the playoffs next year, but I do not think they will be able to get past the Chiefs if they have to. And that only means I feel like they're going to be back next year, the year after that, and I think that might be the year where the Ravens are able to get past the Chiefs and make it to the Super Bowl and maybe even win it. Because you got to realize that the Chiefs are one of the best teams in the NFL, like the Ravens. But they have the best quarterback in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes. And Mahomes, it's not going to be easy stopping that man from throwing the football or running with it or anything. Same with Lamar Jackson. But Mahomes is much better, and he's just looked much better in the playoffs and overall in general. So I want you guys to let me know down in the comments, what do you think? Do you think the Ravens are capable of winning the Super Bowl or not? To me, I have a feeling that next year, I don't feel like they'll have that big of a chance when it comes to playing the Chiefs, but I still do think they will be doing well in the playoffs until they face Kansas City. That's going to be for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you all next time. I'm out.